Yo, what is going on, guys? Hutcho322 here, back, and today, guys, I'm bringing you yet another ASL video. And today I have for you guys our Season 1 weekly recap, called a Throwback Thursday, if you will. Little recap on if you didn't see the last Season 1 weekly recap. The reason I'm doing this is because Season 1 is the only season of the ASL that we don't have documented here on the YouTube channel, so I figure we might as well do that. But yeah, basically it's just to take on weekly recap, but it's using Season 1, and Season 1 was pre-Gen 7. Season 2 is the first season that we allowed Gen 7 mods because Gen 7 wasn't out when Season 1 happened. So, for the first match we have Anaria taking on Slarflar. If I'm not mistaken, Anaria won? Or no, wait. It's not this game. It's this game. I got it mixed up. Anyways, we have Sand taking on the Spam. I believe the Spam won last week. I don't exactly know or remember who Sand was taking over. But the teams consist of Sand having Vaporeon, Weavile, Mega Beedrill, Gourgeist, Sigilif, Nippowdon, and the Spam having Virizion, Miltank, Salamence, Haunter, Rotom Wash, and Delphox. So let's hop into the game. We got a Hippowdon leading up against the Delphox, favoring the Hippowdon immensely, so it can get up Stealth Rocks pretty easily. As out comes Rotom, as Gourgeist is then a pretty decent swap into this Rotom. The Rotom can now burn it due to the sub being up. So Rotom's going to go for the Hydro Pump into the Sigilif, and then is going to be able to kill with the Thunderbolt. So this is looking to be an offensive Rotom, and is really putting on a lot of pressure early. Beedrill going for the Protect. It's weird to see that, but the automatic speed was needed back in this season. So Sand is going to go out into his Weavile and takes the Thunderbolt not well at all. Then goes for the knockoff, sacking off his Weavile essentially to get it into a range to get rid of Rotom. So Rotom claiming 2 kills in the match, Spam making a very good set, picking up 2 kills with that sub Rotom. So Haunter is going to go for the Shadow Ball into Vaporeon, as Vaporeon goes for the Scald, does loads of damage to this Haunter, and Haunter is just going to go for the Shadow Ball again, try and do whatever it can to this Vaporeon as it is going to drop. Now out comes the Virizion, as Virizion is going to put a lot of pressure on at this point in the match. Spam is going to make a double, predicting the Gourgeist to come out, as that is exactly what is going to happen. So good double on his part. And he could just go for the Wish, wanting to scout what this Hippowdon does. He's going to go for the Fire Blast, as Hippowdon actually goes for the Yawn, so interesting things there. And Delphox is going to go out into the Miltank, as Sand is going to make the swap into Gourgeist. So in most scenarios, Miltank actually walls Gourgeist, just due to Sap Sipper and the normal typing. So Gourgeist is going to go for the Will-O-Wisp, as Fire Punch now does 7%. Lots of damage. Take a drink of water. Miltank going to swap out into the Salamence, as Salamence is going to be able to put on a lot of pressure, showing that it is a special variant, but is unfortunately going to miss its Fire Blast, getting burned. It's unfortunate. It might have been physical variant actually, now that it showed the Lum, but is going to go for the Fire Blast, does about nothing to Hippowdon, goes for the Hydro Pump, is not able to follow up on the kill. And then this Hippowdon is actually able to slack off on this Mence. I don't really understand why Spam went for the Draco here. I mean, it clearly wasn't doing anything. Then he's going to follow it up with a Hydro Pump for absolutely no reason. He's basically allowing his Mence to go to sleep at this point in the match. Gourgeist is going to come out, as this Mence is going to be sleeping. And it's not a set amount of turns, but Gourgeist can go for the Leech Seed, getting some damage off on the Salamence. Hippowdon comes out on this Mence relatively easy. You guys saw how much the Hydro Pump did, and with Leech Seed support and with the Hydro Pump, it's going to be looking really nice. But this Mence does have Roost, but that is not going to help it win the battle. As out comes Miltank, seeing as though it cannot be yawned by this Hippowdon and can stall it out with Milk Drinks. So as you're going to see, this Earthquake is going to do 22%. So each turn, Miltank is going to be taking around 25 to 30%. So Hippowdon going for the Earthquake, doing some damage to this Miltank. Miltank does not care though. It can just sit here and Milk Drink all freaking day. and Gorgeist is gonna frisk the lefties, and I feel like this is gonna be a long match. Oh god. But Delphox gonna get the aggressive swap on this Gorgeist, seeing as though that it really doesn't have room for Shadow or Shadow Ball, Shadow Sneak. Why would I say Shadow Ball? Shadow Sneak or Shadow Claw. So Vaporeon is going to Baton Pass, predicting possibly the swap out to Virizion just to get the momentum, as Delphox does not want to take a knockoff. Going into the Miltank, which is going to be able to drop to a Poison Jab. So down goes Miltank, and it's Virizion looking to be a Choice Scarf variant. A Stone Edge will kill this thing, and it does prove to be a Choice Scarfed. So that means Sand can go straight into Hippowdon after this if he so chooses to. Mence is going to go for the Intimidate. He's just going to stand and Leech Seed on this Mence. It's not looking good for the spam at this point. He's going to go for the Roost. It would have been much more beneficial if he would have gone for the attack that turn. He has to go for the Draco and actually misses, so very unfortunate. And his Mence is going to die to an Ice Beam. So Virizion is going to come out here as it can put a lot of pressure and goes for the Leaf Blade and gets rid of the Vaporeon. Knowing that it is a Choice Scarf variant, Sand can go straight into his Gourgeist, and honestly his best play is to go for a Ghost type move if he has it. But he's actually going to double into Mega Beedrill, and this basically just wins in the game because the Virizion could not win in any circumstance. Beedrill gets to go for a Protect, see what this thing is going to do, and now Sand can basically go into something accordingly. Going into Gourgeist, I think that was kind of a choke, because if he double crits, then I mean Hippowdon would still wall, but if he double crits, it gets a little interesting. But Gourgeist going for the burn, as it's gonna swallow Stone Edges now. Going for the Gyro Ball, just trying to chip this thing down and win the match. Virizion is going to go for the Stone Edge, and Gourgeist is going to be able to finish off the Virizions for a 3-0 victory over the Spam, coach of the Las Vegas Ludicolo. In the next match, we have the Potato Remix, which I believe he lost last week. Don't quote me on that. Taking on our very own admin, Altaria Motives. Still in the league, still going strong. And the teams are as follows. Ian has a Mega Lopunny, he has a Registeel, he has a Bisharp, he has a Caracosta, he has a Mischievous, he has a Zapdos. And the Potato Remix has a Mega Sharpedo, he has a Clefable, a Terrakion, why can't I think of its name? Frogadier, a Escavalier, and a Sock. So let's hop into the match. We got a Frogadier and a Lopunny lead. This is favoring Lopunny, of course. It can just go for that nice fake out, get some good chip. Unless this is Scarf, which it proves to be. It cannot do anything. It's not going to do hardly anything as is. Lopunny is going to get rid of Frogadier on the second turn of the match. So going on to Clefable, Ian just wants to make a swap into Misdreavus. Whether that was predicting the Focus Blast or not, it worked. And he's going to go for the Mean Look, making it so this thing is going to 100% go Will-O-Wisp. Now Escavalier is going to be doing a lot of damage with its knockoffs. Since there's no Violite, but could go straight into Zapdos, and Zapdos goes for the Heat Wave and gets rid of Escavalier. So Ian is looking to be in the driver's seat at the moment. And Potato is going to over-predict Ian's swap, and then Zapdos can go for the Thunderbolt. And now he wants to go on to Registeel, predicting the Stone Edge, so good couple of plays on Ian's part. Honestly, his best play now is to double out into Misdreavus. Is he going to do that? Nah, he goes back into Zapdos. Zapdos going for the Volt Switch, wanting to get into something more competent to take on this thing. Sokka is going to show off the Facade, so maybe he was trying to get burned or trying to get Toxic or something like that. Mega Lopunny going to go for that return. As out comes Clefable. Not wanting to take a Focus Blast with Ian's Registeel, is going to go into his Zapdos, which Zapdos is going to beat this thing one-on-one bar Toxic. But this proves to be a very offensive Clefable. By that Moonblast damage, Clefable is going to unluckily get paralyzed, as Zapdos is going to get it paralyzed again. Zapdos is going to go for the Thunderbolt. Will it paralyze the third time? Nope. But in the process, Clefable essentially died, and Lopunny just gets to come out and click a bunch of different moves and it's looking to be about the game. Now Lopunny is going to go for the return. It shows to not be Scarf Terrakion, as he revealed Life Orb earlier in the match. And the Sharpedo cannot kill this Lopunny with any one hit. Actually, it probably can with Waterfall. He's going to protect again just to try and get the speed up. Because why the heck not? Maybe see what this Reggie wants to go for. He's going to go for the Waterfall. It's going to do negligible damage. And Sharpedo can go ahead and get countered. As I don't really understand why he Destiny Bonded. I mean, I guess if the Reggie wanted to attack him, his best play was to just Waterfall flinch. But Altaria, the atrocious Altarias, coached by Altaria Motives, are going to take a 4-0 victory. Next, we have Thunderflight taking on Panda Wants a Hug. And I believe Panda, I don't really remember how each of their matches turned out, but their teams are as follows. Thunderflight has a Rotom-Mow and Armaldo, a Mew, a Togekiss, a Gastrodon, and a Ditto. And Panda has a team of Tentacruel, Quagsire, Azumarill, Politoed, Volcanion, and Slowking, the mono water team. So let's hop into the game. Got a Rotom-Mow taking on a Politoed, very much favoring Rotom-Mow. Panda just wanting to see what this Rotom-Mow would like to do. Sees Leaf Storm and then just goes out into Tentacruel. That is still going to be a 2-shot, bar the drop. So T-Flight has to swap out, being scared of the Sludge Wave, as that is what's going to come out. Gastrodon walls this thing, bar a Toxic, but it's going to be able to kill it before it can get off a Toxic. Well, it'll get off the Toxic, but it'll kill it immediately. So Slowking is going to go for the Future Sight, as Rotom wants to go for the Volt Switch, and is going to get rid of the Tentacruel. And out comes Armaldo on this Volcanion, and can go for the Stone Edge and absolutely Oko this Volcanion. But the Future Sight is almost going to kill the Armaldo. Now Azumarill going for the knockoff, gets rid of Gastrodon's Rindoberry, likely there for like some Power Solar Beam set from the Volcanion. It was going to be Politoed against Mew. Politoed is going to unfortunately miss a Toxic, but since it landed on the following turn, that means Politoed is going to be Toxic as well. So Mew is going to go for the Calm Mind. Excuse me, and this just got a lot more scary, as Mew is going to reveal the Thunderbolt, doing loads of damage to the Azumarill as Quagsire comes out, as T-Flight makes a good prediction, going for the Giga Drain. It was a no drawback play, as Panda is trying to play with Toxic Stall at this point as his best means of winning. And Mew is just going to go for the Giga Drain once more. And then is going to follow it up with a Thunderbolt, as Slowking just wanting to go for the Future Sight, as T-Flight is finally going to swap out his Mew, determining that the Toxic damage is simply too much. And Togekiss against Politoed. Politoed is going to miss another Toxic. Politoed, you need glasses, my friend, as Togekiss is going to have to take the Future Sight attack, but damage is getting racked up on this Politoed. Politoed is going to be hurt by the poison again, and then is going to reveal the rest. So this Politoed just got a lot more annoying to deal with for Thunderflight's team. And out comes Armaldo, knowing that Politoed is sleeping. He can get off a really big hit. His out comes Quagsire on the X-Scissor, predicting Stone Edge. Panda guesses wrong, and he is going to lose his Quagsire due to it. So out comes the Azumarill, and Gastrodon is going to get a Storm Drain boost. Can go for that nice Earth Power, do some clean damage to the Slowking. And T-Flight just wants to keep up the pressure, as Slowking is going to go for the Future Sight, going into Politoed. This is exactly what T-Flight wants. Getting rid of this Politoed is going to better him for the rest of the game. And now he is up 6-2. It's looking like he's going to get a 6-0 sweep, but Azumarill is going to stomp those chances. As out comes Rotom-Mow, and Rotom-Mow gets to clean up the game with Thunderbolt, as I don't think Slowking is going to be living this, as it is not. And T-Flight is going to win a 5-0 victory over Panda Wants a Hug. In the next match, we have Raver Guy, coach of the Beast Mode Breloons, taking on Anderson, our very own commissioner, coach of the Jonesboro Omastars. Both of them got a win last week, so let's go ahead and hop into it. Oh wait! Their teams are as follows. Mega Scissor for Raver with Heatran, Latios, Nidoqueen, Xatu, Drapion, and Anderson has a Kieran Black, a Cresselia, a Dugtrio, a Blastoise, a Chestnut, and a Tornadus T. Let's hop into it. We got a Heatran and Tornadus T lead, favoring somewhat the Tornadus T depending on its set. Is going to go for the knockoff, just wanting to get rid of Heatran's potential Shuckleberry or what's it called? Shed Shell. So this Xatu is going to prove to have the Rocky Helmet, as this Tornadus is going to be chipped down, but does have Regenerator, so that can help it out later in the match. As Kieran Black is going to come out, taking that Psychic Nice, and then can go for a nice Ice Beam and get rid of this Xatu, which is looking to be a decent trek for a majority of Anderson's team. So Anderson is going to sack off his Kieran Black to this Mega Scizor, as it is not going to deliver Bullet Punch. Now out comes the Tornadus T, is going to go for Superpower, possibly predicting the Heatran to come out on a Heat Wave, but out comes Nidoqueen to take on the Torn, as Torn is going to U-turn, and then Nidoqueen is going to get a big hit off on Blastoise. Blastoise proves to be faster, going for that nice Torrent boosted Scald. At least I think it's Torrent boosted, and it's actually Choice Specs Blastoise. So Drapion getting rid of that, and Dugtrio can come out, trap this thing, almost kill it, but Dugtrio is unfortunately not able to kill it, as Drapion picking up 2 kills, but then Torn T can come out and do what it must. Can go for the knockoff, getting rid of the Lumberry on Drapion. It proves to be a much slower Torn, as this Crest is going to go for the Moonblast, and it is 3-2, much favoring Raver at this point right now. Anderson is going to go for the Moonlight, as there's not much Raver can do, and Crest is going to go for that 100% accurate paralysis. And now it's Chestnut against the world, so basically Anderson's gonna lose this game, because there's nothing that a Chestnut can do to a Latias. I'm honestly surprised that Raver hasn't gone to it yet, but he's just going to keep his Scizor in here, wants the Scizor to get the kill. As Anderson is going to go for the Spiky Shield, and actually getting paralyzed helps Raver immensely. Anderson going for the Synthesis, and it gets to the point where it's like, when does Raver just go to Latias and say, you know what, this is what we got to do? But he's just going to roost up with the Scizor, as actually doing 9% to the Scizor is pretty impressive, considering its times for resisted 8%, whatever it may be. And then Scizor is going to go for the Bug Bite, do 90%. Unfortunately, is not enough to kill. I don't think Bug Bite would have killed. And Raver's getting horribly unlucky with these paralyses. And Anderson can possibly bring the differential back if he gets a paralysis here. So now it's going to come down to rolls, but Raver likely swaps out. He leaves it in, lives on 1%. Does he get paralyzed? No, he doesn't. He's going to get the roost off. Raver, why aren't you going into Latias? Please, just go Latias. Come on, just end the match. Just go Latias. There's no reason why you're staying in here. Oh yeah, another thing that I just remembered, back in Gen 6, the chance of you getting paralyzed was much higher. So Chestnut going for the Spiky Shield. I swear, Raver's like throwing differential in this match. Like, what are you doing, bro? Just kill him. Latias is a free play. We've sat here for 10 pointless turns. And there we go. Crit didn't matter. Definitely didn't matter. If it did, oh well. It was going to be the game either way. So that is going to be the game. The Beast Mode Braylims are going to win a 3-0 victory over the Jonesboro Omastars. Next up we got Lotad taking on TG or Zero to Hero. So Lotad's team consists of Shuckle, Landorus Therian, Porygon, Z, Mega Medicham, Talonflame, Shaman, and then TG's team consists of Mega Manectric, Latios, Lilligant, Mienshao, Druddigon, I almost said Dugtrio, good lord, Druddigon, and Dusclops. So let's hop into it. We got a Shuckle leading out against the Druddigon, two things wanting to get a Brox and or Sticky Webs. So Shuckle is going to get up its Sticky Webs, as it is going to be Dragon-tailed out into the Shaman, which is honestly decent for Lotad, but he doesn't want to take a gunk shot here, as TG was going out into his Latios, and Shuckle could take the hit extremely well. going for the Toxic. It looks to be especially defensive Shuckle, if I had to guess. As it is going to set up Sticky Webs, predicting the... what's it called? Defog. And Lotad is going to have some nice tech here. He's going to run the Custap Berry, getting to get off the Stealth Rocks first. So the Hazard stack is real at this point, and it's not looking that like TG has some defog. So it's definitely going to be unfortunate. But going into the ultimate counter to Mega Medicham, Ghost types. Lotad, I don't really understand why he is going to let his Mega Medicham die to this thing. Or if he was just going for hacks. Like, that's a little curious to me. He had a pretty free swap into PZ. Just to fire off Shadow Balls, assuming that he has it. Landers is going to come out. He's going to let that thing get Will-O-Wisp too. So I don't really understand what he's doing here. He's sacking all of his win cons right now. That's exactly what he's doing. So Shaman going to go over the Seed Flare and get rid of this Dusclops. I don't think sacking all your win cons is a viable strategy, but you know. Latios is going to go for the defog. Very good play on TG's part. Just wanting to get rid of these hazards as he knows that they're going to be a trouble for him moving on. As he's going to Roost get his Latios a little bit more healthy. And is going to drop a Draco on the Shaman, just getting rid of it. Proving this is Life Orb Latios is going to die to one more hit. But he wants to swap out, doesn't want to die to fake out, goes into his Dredagon, gets that rough skin Rocky helmet, and Medicham is essentially useless in this match. It's going to die to a Sucker Punch if that's what TG wants to go into, but he's just going to go ahead and go sack off his Latios, which is the right play, because this gets him straight out into his main Nectric, which can go for a big hit, even if Landers comes out, unless it is Scarf Landers, is not going to be able to if it's Scarf Landers, it can outspeed, but predicting that, TG is going to go into his Lilligant. And this is likely Scarf Landers, otherwise he would have clicked the U-turn. And Lilligant is getting over the Sleep Powder on the Talonflame. So out comes Dredagon. Dredagon being a very good response to a majority of Lotad's team now. As Dredagon getting up those rocks for the Talonflame. As Medicham does die to another hit. And TG is going to go ahead and sack off his Dredagon. It got rocks up and it got rid of the Mega Medicham and burn the Landers. So Landers coming out here, TG is not going to want to take an Earthquake, even though it's a burned -1. Lotad is going to go for the Stone Edge, just trying to get off whatever damage it can. As out comes Talonflame, hoping to wake up, and TG hopes that doesn't happen, and it doesn't, so Mega Nectar can go ahead and get off a nice Thunderbolt here. And out comes PZ, PZ against the world. If this was Gen 7 and it was allowed, maybe he could bring it back with a Z conversion again if it was allowed, but my man brought the adaptability Hyper Voice Life Orb adaptability. I probably already said adaptability. I probably said Hyper Voice. I meant Hyper Beam. That was heat. But TG is going to win this match in a 2-0 fashion. And moving on to the next one, we have Lumberjack, who I believe lost last week, taking on Doom, who I think won last week. Not too sure. I know that Doom is coach of the Tottenham Espers, but let's hop into this match after I talk about their teams. Lumberjack's team consists of Skarmory, Mega Absol. I think it's Mega Absol. That'd make the most sense. Snorlax, Slowbro, Mr. Mime, Emboar. And then Doom's team consists of Manaphy, Mega Zardex, Mamoswine, Thundurus Therian, Umbreon, and Hitmonchan. Let's hop into it. We got Mega Absol leading out against Thundurus Therian. And Absol is going to swap out, not wanting to take a Focus Blast or a Volt Switch for that matter, going into the Hitmonchan. Getting a nice Drain Punch off, as Lumberjack is going to lose his Snorlax on the second turn of the match. As Doom is going to leave in his Hitmonchan against the Skarmory, bold move, but then gets a swap into his Manaphy to go ahead and set up a Tail Glow, and Emboar's Wild Charge would do a lot. The Lumberjack is actually going to double on a +3 Manaphy. I would not advise that. That's not something I would say is a good play, especially since Emboar didn't kill anyways. So now Emboar's dropping as well. And this is looking like a 6-0 sweep in the making, and we're only at turn 8. Mr. Mime, you're not taking that Surf. Don't really understand why he didn't go Absol just because it's a Mega Absol and it 100% outspeeds. Psych. He must have genned it wrong. I don't really understand why that Mega Absol didn't outspeed. Or genned it? No, built it wrong. So that is going to be a 6-0 victory for the Tottenham Espers, coached by Doom, on turn 10. And in the last match, as I said at the beginning of the video foolishly, we have Anaria taking on Slarflar. I believe Anaria won last week, and I think Slarflar won as well. Yeah, on the back of Selgor. So we have a Mega Gardevoir, we have a Dragonite, we have a Volcarona, we have a Conkeldurr, we have a Mandibuzz, and we have an Empoleon. And on Slarflar's side, we have a Garchomp, an Infernape, a Venusaur. Oh my god. Okay. Sorry about that. It's just right when I'm trying to do stuff, they're making advertisements. But anyways, and then Starmie, Stoutland, and Sylveon. So let's hop into the match. So we got Dragonite taking on Stoutland, and Stoutland is going to fear this out with an Ice Fang, as that is exactly what is going to happen. And there we go. So Sylveon gets to come out on Mandibuzz, pretty free play. And Volcarona coming out, as it can take a Hyper Voice relatively easily. Doesn't want to take a Psyshock, but can take a Hyper Voice easily. So Anaria going for that Quiver Dance, then can follow it up with an HP Ice into Garchomp. As then out comes Stoutland, fearing a potential Scarf, but Anaria does not care whatsoever. So Volcarona going for the Fiery Dance, getting a nice special defense boost. Sylveon actually being Hyper Beam, so interesting things there is Volcarona is going to get another Fiery Dance boost. And Anaria is looking in the driver's seat right now. Infernape is going to go for the Mach Punch. Doesn't matter. There's another Fiery Dance boost. And that looks to be another 6-0, folks. Fiery Dance. That's another kill. Starmie, would you like to get murdered? Yes, you would. And that is going to be the game. Another 6-0 this week from turn 11 instead of turn 10. Anaria picking up the 6-0 victory over Slarflar. So that is going to be the video, guys. Thank you all for watching this week 2 of the Season 1 weekly recap. And I will see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye.